Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page where I do this live stream 5 days a week, Sunday through Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern and 2 Central. Welcome, and today is Monday. Monday. I was going to say, yay. It's a Monday, right? It's a busy Monday. And it is May 6th. May 6th. I know. It's kind of a cloudy day here. It's a little cool too. I have to admit. Long sleeves today. Long sleeves. Yeah, yesterday I was running around in short sleeves and capris, and so not today. It's cool out there. So welcome, and welcome to those who will be watching the recorded version of this as well. We want to thank you for that. I know, taking time out of your day to be here with me in the live, thank you so much. And thank you when you take time out of your day to be able to be with us for the recorded show. So before we get too much further, I'm going to take my phone and I'm going to like and share our live stream, and just to make sure that my friends know that I'm live streaming. First, I got to find us. I'm going to scroll. Here we are. I'm actually going to love it, and I'm going to send it over to my news feed. Go back one, news feed. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to let them know that I'm live streaming. And to please join. There we go. I'm going to post that. And I have to say, I need to send it over to a couple of friends too, because I promised them that I would do that. Let's see. It's not the one I wanted. Rats. Rats, rats, rats. All right. I think that'll do. There we go. It's kind of weird. I feel like I don't know my way around Facebook anymore. I know that they did some changes, updates, and there's certain things they're probably just putting it in a different place, Yeah. I say this, I used to say this all the time. When I would invite people to do the sharing, which, I would like you to do if you wouldn't mind, is to share it, even if it was with one friend or on your timeline. It's very helpful. Because this is what I used to say. I used to say, Facebook, it's an elusive creature. And just when we think we understand it and we get a handle on it, things change. And then we have to feels like we have to start over from square one. And well, that just happened. That just happened not too long ago, a few days ago, actually. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's some changes. And so it's, and poor Stephanie, she's the one who has to, wrestle with that Facebook interface with other social media posts that she does. And so more power to Stephanie, right? Got to send her a big hug, because she's the one who has to deal with it most of the time. Yeah. So let's see who's in the house. Rochelle's here. Hello, Rochelle. Good to have you here. Always good to see you in the chat. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate it. Hey, Jocelyn. Good to have you here. Good to see you. And you look gorgeous in that blue color. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do. Blue is one of my favorite colors. And this color blue is kind of reminds me, it's a little bit more springish, I think, or summer-ish, rather than because it's so cold. I didn't want to go back to winter colors. And so thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. And Johnson said she shared. Yay! Thank you. Thank you. Even if we reach one more person with that share, it's really good, isn't it? Hi, Peggy. Oh, good to have you here. It's always good to see you in the house. Good to have you ladies here. Yeah. So Monday, I hope you guys had a good weekend. Coming up weekend is Mother's Day weekend, isn't it? Um, yeah, got to go out and get that card yet. Yikes. Time just flies by so quickly. Yeah, and so I hope you guys had a good weekend. We did here. It was a busy weekend. They always are, aren't they? Try to fit so much in. Robin's egg color. Um, it's a little bit lighter than robin's egg, I think. Robin's egg, I think, is a more brilliant blue. But it depends on how you're seeing it on your monitor too, on your screen, because website or the internet does some funky things with colors sometimes, right? Yeah, but it's one of my favorite colors, blue, of all kinds of blues, really, all of them. All right, so I wanted to share with you that if you haven't seen it, the pictures from Madonna DePaulo's book launch that she did in the physical world in Baltimore, Maryland, where she's from. She did her book launch on Saturday. The Sound Weavers book. The Sound Weavers book. Let me see. I think I have it here. This book. It's a children's book. Yeah. The Sound Weavers. This is a book that she's worked on for quite a long time, and we helped her to get it published. And so she's our third author here at Star Nations Publishing. It's a children's book. It's all about whales and dolphins and our relationship to them. And she's running a special. She's signing author signed books at a special price. Today was supposed to be the last day. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yesterday was, but I haven't taken down the thing on the website yet, PayPal. So if you haven't gotten your book yet and you'd like to get it at the discounted price for the author signed books for the special, you can still do that. You can just go to our website, starnations.org, go to the publishing page, and you'll see it. It's right there on the top. Yeah. So if you'd like to have one, it's a nice book. It really is, and the illustrations in there are gorgeous. Gorgeous. Christine Pollock is the illustrator, and she's one of my sisters. She's a spiritual artist, I would say. Yeah, that's what I would say. So, the cards today. We have one card. This is the deck that we're using right now, the Lakota Sweat Lodge cards. It's was published in 1993. When I was going to grab the link for Stephanie, I didn't realize that it's out of print, and you can't buy new anymore. You can only get them used. And so if you've never seen this deck, and you think, oh gee, I would really like to have that one, you'd have to order it and for a used book and cards. Yeah. But I think this is my second deck I ever got back in the early 2000s. I became acquainted with it at one of the trainings I was at, and they had this deck there. Yeah. It's by Chief Archie Fire Lame Deer and Ellen Sarkis. And Ellen is she's the author, I would say. Archie Fire Lame Deer is the creative consultant, I would call it. Yeah, I guess they went to many of his sweat lodges, his Anipis, and they got to be friends. And Helen wanted to create this deck because she in her mind's eye, she could see how the deck could be put together. And with Archie's help with the information about the cards and the images and the meaning behind certain words and that sort of thing. It was a collaboration, and I think they collaborated really, really well, I think. All right. Rochelle's asking, how's my mom? Well, mom's doing actually fairly well, considering, right, that her birthday next month, she'll be 100. Yeah, it's days like this that are kind of difficult. Um, bath days, and how much energy it takes for her just to take a bath, and then she's kind of it's a hard day after that. And so dealing with pain issues this morning, and that takes a little bit more time, right? On both our parts. Yeah. And so, she'll be napping a lot this afternoon. So, she's slowing down a bit, Rochelle. She's slowing down a bit. I would say her life force energy is quite a bit different from last year. Yeah, yeah. For those who have ever been caregivers, primary caregivers to anyone, whether, it's a disabled child or maybe a spouse who's been ill, or, an elderly parent, you all know the commitment it takes to be a primary caregiver. And it's not necessarily always the physicalness of it that is a challenge. There is that, but in my world anyway, it's the challenge is more about the emotional and the mental challenge. Watching somebody who has your entire life has been this vibrant and really strong woman, right? In so many ways, see the decline. And yeah, so thank you for asking though, Rochelle. She's doing okay. That's about the best I can say. She's hanging in there. She's doing all right. She hasn't done a project in, oh gosh, it's got to be close to a year, maybe 9 months. She used to do handiwork, right? Embroidery, beadwork, and that kind of stuff. And she hasn't done anything in a long time. Yeah. So that kind of tells you something, right? Yeah. What do you mean you still can't get PayPal to kick in? Well, rats. Let me think. Because I know that you did a couple of things that I asked you to try, and it's still not. Okay. So somebody was telling me that maybe you have an old version of PayPal. And if you haven't used PayPal in a while, either that or Rochelle, I'll let Madonna know. And if you can PM me your mailing address, okay, and let me know how many books you want. And you can just write us a check if you want, and you can send it to me, okay? And we'll get it taken care of that way. That way you don't have to kind of worry about PayPal. But PM me your mailing address, okay? Your postal address, and how many books you want. And then I'll send you our address, and you can just send us a check, okay? All right. Hey, Pat's here too. Hello, Pat. Good to have you here. And Peggy's saying Powell's bookstore online has lots of used items. Oh, good one. Okay, we're going to try to get that link for everybody, okay, and put it in the comments, because you can get it from Amazon, but they're like 20 something bucks. No, I think they were even more than that used. Anyway, there's lots of different outlets, and if Peggy, Powell's is a good one that has used items, used books, then let's share that out, right? If anybody is interested in getting their own deck. Yeah. And Pat is saying, I was having a lot of trouble too, but it's working now. Oh, well, good. Yeah, Madonna did contact me this weekend and said there was two people that were trying to use PayPal and they couldn't get it to work, and so I just passed on the information is to close your windows, anything that you have open, and actually shut down your computer. It clears out the memory. And if you can leave it off for like 10 or 15 minutes, that's even better. And then when you come back in, when you turn it back on, is to try PayPal again. And sometimes what gets stuck in the memory is that old version of the PayPal. And so, because other people have used the button and have had no problem with it. So I'm not sure exactly what the deal is. And we did check out the button and everything is fine. I thought maybe we had a broken link or something, but no, that's not true. So, yeah. If you're having problems with it and you'd like to have a book, please just PM me and we'll try to get you situated. Like I just helped Rochelle, okay? Yeah. We can get it done. Yeah. Working together, right? And it's like Rochelle's thanking Pat for that comment. Yeah, keep the faith, right? Technology is grand when it works. Jocelyn said it's very difficult watching them decline. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And sometimes it's definitely emotionally taxing, so doing things to help myself to be able to get through the emotional stretching, right? The mental part is, those, I was going to call them stupid things, like, hearing the same stories over and over and over again. I could tell her stories by heart now. And it shouldn't make any difference, but it's that mental mind that goes, oh my God, not again. Those kinds of things, right? And that's real. It is real. And, trying to help her manage her pain, because she does have a mild pain. It's called tramadol. It's an opiate, but her milligrams are really, really small, and she doesn't like taking anything more. And in fact, with this one, she only takes it when she really cannot stand the pain anymore. And so, and so we're doing oils, and when it gets really, really bad, she'll say, "Can you come and help me?" And that means she wants hands-on healing, and it's not even really healing so much as it is bringing some energy in for her to be able to use to manage her own pain, right? Because it's for her highest good, and I can't take the pain away for her. I can help her manage it, but I can't take it away for her. Yeah, you know how that is. You know how that goes. Let's see. Gotta scroll down a little bit. And Peggy saying, I'm out walking the dog, or I'd get the link. That's okay. That's all right. Powell's in Portland, Oregon, and a great Amazon alternative. Okay. Well, I'm sure one of us can find it. Maybe after the show, I'll do a little hunting for it and get it in the comments for us. Okay. But thank you, Peggy, for sharing that. It's really important. Pat saying I had to turn off PayPal for a number of days, then it kicked in. Oh, really? Huh. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's something. When you say turn it off, do you mean is to log out of it and not have it on, right? Okay. Oops. Jocelyn says, do yourself a favor and record one of her best stories. Actually, I have them recorded. Most of them, I should say. When Mom first moved in with us back in 2012, yeah, I think it was 2012. Yeah, it was 2012. We started the Star Nation's internet radio that following February. So February of 2013, okay? And we had a show called Elder Hour. And we would interview elders. And it was one of my favorite shows. And Mom happened to be the elder that I interviewed because I figured I have an elder right here. Why don't I interview her about a few things, right? And so I don't know, she has like maybe 6 or 7 shows or something like that. And they're on podcast. You can get them at iTunes, or you can go to Blog Talk Radio. They're still housed there as well. And so that, yeah, and she's got about 6 or 7 shows there. And so many times, she says, "Oh, nobody wants to hear anything I have to say." Well, she had such a following. Yeah, and then she decided that she didn't want to do it anymore because she goes, "I'm sure they can hear the pain in my voice, and I really don't want to do that to them." And so she declined to be interviewed again, and she doesn't even like having her picture taken. And she goes, especially when somebody puts it on Facebook and they don't tell me they're doing that. She got all perturbed about it because one of my nieces did that. She hardly ever comes to see her, and I wasn't home. It must have been one of the weekends that Paul and I were gone, and my brother and his wife were taking care of Mom, and their middle child came, and I think that was the first time she'd been to see her grandmother in, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. And I took a picture with her, and she put it on Facebook. When my mom found out, she goes, "Oh my God." All right, so I did post something today. I reshared it. It was about a shawl that my mom made, but it was 8 years ago. 8 years ago, and she didn't even want her picture taken then. She modeled the shawl, but I could only use the picture taken from the back. So yeah, I do have a few recorded, and I also have a couple. I want to say 3, maybe 3 or 4 recordings that are not public, for the public. They actually made recordings for her grandchildren. Yeah, so I still have to figure out how to share that with them. Yeah. So that's a good idea, though, and I wish more people did that with the elders that they have in their lives. Yeah, Rochelle said it's better to keep that pain at bay. Trying to get rid of major pain is harder to control if they let it go too long. Yeah, that is so true. We try to stay ahead of it, if we can. If we can, there's times when Mom will refuse. She goes, "No, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I don't want to take anything. I'm doing good. Um, are you still in pain?" Not as bad as it was. And it says, "Yeah." Okay. So sometimes she just lets it go too long, and then we have to kind of start over. But yeah, that's the name of the game, though. Try to tell a 99-year-old what to do. It doesn't fly. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think that we all probably have a good idea how to deal with that pain. And she does too. It's just that she gets tired of it all. And when she's feeling good, she doesn't want to be reminded of it, right? Yeah, I think so. And it's sometimes it's what does she say? She says, the mind's willing, the body's not. Because she wants to do a project, but she says, I just get tired just trying to pull together the things that I need to use for it. And the thing is that her projects turn into we projects because she can't do any of it by herself anymore. Aspects she can, but not the whole thing. And so whatever she ends up working on, so do I. And yeah. All right. So how about the first card, the only card for today? Okay. This is what came this morning. It's called Wazi, and it's called the Old Man. Let's see if I can get my finger out of the way. Old Man Sorcerer of the North. Wazi. Old Man Sorcerer of the North. Get that picture up there. Now, the direction of the north, many Native people put the stone people in the north. And so if you take a look at his face, it kind of reminds you of stone, right? He's got medicinal colors in the background. An eagle feather, which means that he was a warrior. He's got around his neck, it's called a choker. And those are usually bone beads. Yeah. It's a very interesting picture, isn't it? It's Wazi, old man sorcerer of the north. It's about resolution, to be resolved. The author says, this is a channeled piece of writing. I think this is the part that comes from Chief Archie Fire Lame Deer. Okay. It says, I move always with a smile, and I always am moving. That's about Wazi. Wazi says, I move always with a smile, and I am always moving. I am fond of you humans, and so I travel always to know what is happening among you. I am old, yes, but I am not aged. I suffer no ailments, no hesitation. I bring you the wisdom of my source, the vitalizers of the north, the strength of sheer knowledge. The strength of sheer knowledge. So he's an ancient one, but he's not old. He's not aged. He's an ancient one, but not aged. And he's one of those supernatural spirit is what they're called in this book. He's known in the form of the clouds that blow in from the north, bringing the snows and rains that vitalize. Okay, so when we see storm clouds coming, right? Especially in the wintertime or near winter, you know what they look like. They're kind of heavy and they're kind of low. And you can kind of sense or feel the snow in the air before it actually starts snowing or raining. You know what that feels like, right? You can feel it coming. You can smell it. You can sense it. That's Wazi. That's Wazi. Supernatural spirit. You might actually even consider him a weather spirit. So if we're having a winter snowstorm, or if we're having really heavy rains, Wazi is the one that you could turn to and ask him to lighten up a bit. If it's in the highest good, to lighten it up. How about just a nice snowstorm and not a blizzard, right? How about just a gentle snow, but not a blizzard? Because we still need the snow. We still need the rain. Did you know that you can have a drought in the wintertime? When we don't have snow, especially here in the north, right? Snow for long periods of time, that means that there's not enough moisture. And the plants, all things green, still need moisture, even though they may be going through a hibernation, or, like they look like they're dead, but they're not, right? Because their roots are still alive, and so they still need moisture. They still need water. And And so that's why he's called a revitalizer, bringing that snow and those rains from the north. Because we still need that. But we can ask him to go over lightly, because we still need the rain, we still need the snow, but it doesn't have to be a blizzard. It doesn't have to be 18 inches. Just thinking back to the past winter, right? Rochelle says, love the smell of rain and even worms. Well, there is that, you can kind of feel it or sense it in the air. You can kind of smell the rain before it actually starts to rain. And then after the rain is done, and especially if it's been a thunderstorm, right? Well, I love to go outside just afterwards, because the air has a certain smell to it, and it feels a certain way because of the negative ions from the storm. In the springtime or in the summertime, do you ever notice right afterwards the green is really, really vibrant green? Yeah, I like that too. Yeah. And the smell of grandmother earth, and the wetness, the loaminess of her, Yeah. All that from Wazi. All right. And so the author goes on to say that you are on the road to resolving an issue in your life. Decisions will be made regarding this issue, and you'll be able to move forward toward a successful conclusion with confidence and clarity. The doubts that have cluttered your mind in the past will begin to dissolve. Yay! Allowing you to make firm decisions without being pulled in two directions. As you resolve all conflict in this area, you become lighter, released from the weight of the issue. Let your higher self guide you, and you will be able to move past resolution. So you'll be able to get to the other side of it, to be able to see possible solutions, pick a solution, to get it resolved, and then you're going to see that you're going to be on the other side of it, right? And then you have a whole different perspective about it. So how many of us are experiencing something like that? That we have this situation that's been around for a while, right? And every time you make a step to get it resolved, that you procrastinate about it, or maybe the timing isn't quite right in the past, and you started working on it and you got all kinds of blocks coming up and interferences, and it got to be real work. And so maybe there was only aspects that you were able to take care of, but the whole situation hasn't been resolved. This card's telling us that we have the opportunity to be able to actually resolve that issue. Yeah. That it's that we have everything that we need to be able to get it resolved. We have to act on it, right? Because spirit can't do it for us. All they can do is bring us the information, the resources, but we're the ones that actually have to put it into motion. We actually have to move it forward. Yeah. And it kind of feels, because it's coming out of the north, and we can actually, for me on the medicine wheel, that's where our ancestors lie, right? It's the wisdom coming from our ancestors. And the stone people, right? And the stone people hold the record, hold the history. Yeah, so we can tap into that wisdom coming from our ancestors to help us to get to this, whatever that is, resolved, to help us move forward with it. Yeah, I like that. I like that. And because Wazi is a supernatural spirit, remember that the supernaturals in this deck help us to see or sense whatever is happening in our lives from a more than one perspective. So we can actually see this, the resolution, see the problem, see the event or the issue from more than one perspective, which will help us actually move into the resolution. To see it in its wholeness or sense it in its wholeness. And when we do that, then we can actually make actually better decisions, right? And so, Wazi is a supernatural spirit, and he's telling us that there's a resolution available to us. He says you are on the road to resolving an issue in your life. Decisions will be made regarding this issue, and you'll be able to move forward toward a successful conclusion with confidence and clarity. And I think that's because with Wazi's assistance, we can actually see the situation, the issue, from more than just one perspective, which aids us in information and then making decisions based on that information. Yeah. My video is kind of wonky, huh? Yeah, it's a little pixelated. I don't know what that's about. Here, I thought I closed this, but I didn't. So let me close this box, this window. That might help. Maybe. Maybe. Hey, look who's here. Bobby's here too. Yeah, negative ion love. I know that is, and it rejuvenates us, right? Makes us feel good. And Bobby's saying, wow, that's a second card like this for me today. I drew the Peacekeeper as well. Perfect. Ah, all right. So maybe the combination of the two, right? And Bobby's saying, funny how a young person's perspective to think they know everything to know, to when we are older, we ask the elders for clarity. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point, Bobby. Because you know what? In my 30s, I wish I would have remembered to ask my elders. Might have made things a little bit easier, maybe. And yet, on the other hand, we also have to experience what we have to experience, right? But with the ancestors, they can come in with their wisdom, right? Because they've already experienced already. They've already learned that lesson around it. And so, yeah, they can give us information that we can add to our, to how we're looking at the issue, right? And it can help us to kind of look at the issue and also look at the resolutions, the options and what to choose. But ultimately, we're the ones that have to make that choice. Ultimately, we're the ones that have to turn to our own intuition, right? And to make the decision and to move forward with it. We're the ones that have to ground it to the earth plane. Yeah. But, for those of us that have had an issue that's been kind of hanging around for a while, and many of you know exactly what it is, right? that there's opportunities here now that you can actually get it resolved. Yeah. I was just thinking, this is what I call base information, right? Because the authors worked on this information in the late 1980s, published in 1993. It's a majorly different vibrational field they were in than we are today. So when we look at Wazi, when we take Wazi in and we feel that information, the essence of the card, of the spirit of Wazi, and how what he brings to us in our current vibrational field. How do we expand the base information? Because back when these cards were done, many people weren't even considering that they were spirit first. That we were more than many people didn't accept, or maybe that's not even the right word. Didn't understand that we're spirit first in a physical body, right? And today, so many more of us do, right? And many of us, that's how we live our lives. Is that knowing that our soul is leading here, and that our physical aspect is having all of this experience, right? So how do we apply Wazi to your current life right now? Old Man Sorcerer of the North. Old Man Sorcerer of the North. That is the Wazi. That's what it means. Interpretation. So masculine, right? The sacred masculine, divine masculine, in an elder. So then maybe what we're doing is we're actually taking in the mental aspect of the issue from more than one perspective. Seeing it, sensing that issue in its wholeness from our mental body. Yeah. I don't know. How does that feel to you guys? As I'm taking in the expansiveness, as we expand it into this current energy field, and what Wazi could be holding for us, the information in an expanded way. Yes, it's about resolving. And yes, because he's a supernatural spirit, that he can help us to see it from a whole perspective, more than one point of view. But because he's represented in a masculine way, the sacred masculine, the divine masculine, that it's still about our mental thoughts. So rather than seeing the situation from a narrow point of view, we can expand our mental perspective of it and take in more than one perspective to see it more in its wholeness. Yeah. Which really does change how you would make decisions about what option to choose to resolve it, right? Because generally speaking, we usually have more than one option. So sometimes we like to think we only have one option. That's only because possibly one of the other options would be something that we wouldn't choose. But there's more than one usually. So this is something to really consider. To consider how Wazi can assist us in resolving the issue. He's saying that the issue is going to be resolved. It says that you are on the road to resolving an issue in your life. So you have decisions to make to resolve it, to actually be on the other side of it. Saying, let your higher self guide you, and you'll be able to move past resolution. So you'll be on the other side of it. Our higher self. And where we are today, we're always talking about that, aren't we? Is that, and I don't know, you guys have heard me say this, I don't know how many times, is that, is that as a whole being, that we're not sensing or feeling ourselves in those bits and pieces, that our inner child isn't way over there separate from us, and our higher self or our soul self is not outside of us and somewhere else, right? Is that we understand that we're all one being, that inner child is an aspect of us, and our higher self is another aspect of us, and our conscious physical self is an aspect of us. And that many of us see ourselves more of a whole being than in 1989 or 1990 or 1993. And that makes a difference in how we make decisions. It makes a difference. And it also makes a difference in the vibration that we're at, right? That when you're consciously awake on your spiritual journey here on earth, that you're not of the third dimension. You're not. And so that you might spend some time in the third dimension, but you're sliding back and forth between the third and the fourth, right? And as you remember to hold that fourth dimensional energy for longer periods of time, is that you're able to stay in the fourth dimension much longer. And as we move back and forth between the fourth dimension and the fifth dimension, and remembering how to hold that fifth dimension energy, there's more and more of us that are living from our higher heart, that balance between the head and the heart. Yeah. So Wazi can help us in a more expanded way to be able to balance out maybe strong emotions that are around the issue, that we can see the issue from a more balanced way, and maybe bringing in the sacred masculine of an elder's point of view and to see the issue from more of a whole perspective, right? Yeah. All right. Rochelle says, I need to consistently and constantly work on integrating all aspects of my life. Yeah, we all do. We all do. And I think that's part of our learning process here is that we have different experiences or issues, opportunities that come up where we have the opportunity to be able to bring that more into balance, right? Yeah. And Bobby's saying Wazi like the lake, sorta. North energy near us, but by water be healed too in rain, or take a break and go for a dunk in the cool lake. That would be rejuvenating, super grounding, and great breath work. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Wazi, it depends on the language. All right. So the language that's used in this deck is Lakota. Is Lakota. And even though it's Lakota, sometimes the same word will be used but mean different things depending on how you use it in the sentence. Okay, and so that's how come indigenous languages can be kind of confusing because they might have one word, but it depending on how you use it in the sentence, it could mean different things. And so Wazi, in this sense, is about the supernatural spirit. And so that word Wazi could also be used in a different way. Okay. And depending on the language, because Ho-Chunk is very, very close to Lakota. The Ho-Chunk is a part of the Osheti-Sakoi, the Great Sioux Nation. Their language is Siouan based, right? So there's some similarities to it. And Wazi, yes, it has to do with water here. And I'll ask Mom more about that. Because she understands Ho-Chunk fluently, but she doesn't speak it. And so I'll ask her about that word and what it means in Ho-Chunk. And we'll see what she has to say. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Stephanie is saying many opportunities for growth. Yes, many opportunities for growth. That is what we call those life issues that come up, those events in our lives that are both that we term both positive and negative, right? Yeah, the negative ones, unfortunately, are the ones that we have the most soul growth and we remember with clarity. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's about being two-legged, I think. That we do. We also pay attention to the positive ones, but I think that we pay more attention to the positive ones because sometimes it actually feeds our ego too. So we remember that one, and we remember the negative ones, because of all the emotion that goes along with it. And those are the ones that probably hurt us the most emotionally. Yeah. But they're all opportunities because once we get to the other, work our way through them and get them resolved and we're on the other side of it, that is where our wisdom lies. Because we've already gone through the experience of it. Yeah. And then, well, okay, you go through the experience of it and then you have that period of integration where you have to sit with it for a while. Right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes we actually have to go through all of our bodies for it to be complete. a complete healing of it. So it could take a while, or especially in the vibration that we live in right now, it could take half the time, or even sometimes within a breath, it's done. Yeah. Life's pretty interesting these days, don't you think? I think so. All right, we're near the top of the hour. So the author always includes a meditation with this. And with the meditation, it says, I honor the essence of the North, the vitalizers. I honor the place of wisdom within and without. I like that. I honor the place of wisdom within and without. I like that. So Wazi brought some information for us, taking in the spirit of the essence of the card, and what Wazi can bring to us today. A nice understanding, I think. Good understanding. Yeah. All right. So we're starting off a new week here, Star Nations, right? We got lots of good stuff for you this week. Yeah, but first of all, everything that was shared today, if it resonated with you, if it felt good to you, even in parts, it doesn't even have to be the whole thing. Could have been a word, could have been a sentence. And you said, oh, that's it. I got that. My suggestion is to embrace it, and then sense, feel, see how the energy of today is unfolding around you, and where this information could be helpful, right? And if it didn't resonate, don't worry about it. It's okay. No worries. There's always tomorrow's card. Maybe that one will speak to you. Yeah. And so yeah, Peggy's saying suddenly logged off, now loading very slowly. Yeah, I don't know if it was my internet, if it's Facebook or what, but my video was kind of funky. I was going to refresh, but I was afraid I was going to completely lose the connection if I did. And so now it's all clear again. So I don't know what that was all about. So this week we got some stuff for you guys going on. Polly Jo is back. And her show is tomorrow at noon. The first one is Chakra Sessions at noon Eastern Time. And she's going to be talking about us about core wound healing. Yeah. And so I think we're going to be getting some of the story about why she was so ill and what she did to help herself. Yeah, so that's at noon. And she'll teach us about our chakras and what that involved with the core healing. And then there'll be a healing meditation, second half of the show. And then on Tuesday night is my weekly evening show, Communications from Home. And that's on at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to be chatting about spiritual teachers and mentors. Yep. Do you have a spiritual mentor? Are you a spiritual teacher? And we're going to have hopefully a good discussion about that. And really, how do you select your spiritual teacher or mentor? Yeah, good one. And Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time is Soul Connections with Polly Jo LeBay. And that's her show, her weekly show, where there's a healing meditation first, which is really pretty powerful. And it's really meant for those of us that are healers, light workers, energy workers, and we're not really doing our own self-care. Wednesday night is really her mission is to help us do our own healing. And then the second half, she does the card readings, right? And so if you enjoy individual card reading a card, you can join us for that. And on Thursday, May 9th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time is Ed Langdon's show, Life Wisdom with Ed Langdon. And Ed is our resident expert on the law of attraction. And he's going to be talking to us about releasing limiting beliefs on Thursday afternoon. And so giving us some information about it. And then what he helps us do is he does tapping, EFT. And so the tapping is going to be all about the releasing of limiting beliefs. All right. So if you've been working on that, you might want to join us for that show. And then the second half of the show, he does some channeling for us, ascended masters that he works with. And if you have a question for Ed, you can always send him a private message through Facebook. We have the link for his information. I think Stephanie put it in the comments. I think she did. We'll double check on that. And remember, if you want to ask a question, great. But if you are general in your question, you'll get a general response. If you give a more detailed question, you'll get a more detailed response. Okay. So if that's what you're looking for. And on the 10th, Friday, the 10th, we'll be publishing Star Nations Magazine, the May issue. Yay! We're right in the middle of the last round of edits, and I'll be optimizing, getting all the links working and all of that. And so we're close. We're close to being done. We're about 3/4 of the way through. And so Friday on the 10th is our publishing day. Yay. Can't wait. It's a good one. It really is. I say that about all of them, but we have a few articles about the moon in this issue that I think you guys are going to find fascinating. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for being with me. In Potawatomi, thank you. There's 2 different kinds of thank you. Actually, no, 3. There's miigwech, and miigwech is just a regular old thank you. Catchy miigwech. Catchy miigwech is a large thank you. A large thank you. And igwin is a more formal thank you that you use for elders and somebody that you respect a lot. You probably, I was going to say, you probably wouldn't hear too many kids having the word igwin used, but you never know. Children these days, man, they're coming in with intact memories of their past lives and things like that. So, yeah. So, igwin to all of you. Igwin for being with me today. And I'll see you tomorrow for tomorrow's live stream and group card draw. Okay? All right. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Baba Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.